Well, we've got, I know, the haze and the heat, and I'm just going to speak for what I imagine would be most of you out there. You're probably done with it, right? You're ready for this to go away. You're in luck, but it could come with the risk for some mountain flash flooding and maybe even some stronger storms down here into the Front Range and the Denver area by Thursday and your Friday. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi with a detailed look at your Colorado forecast. First things first, there it is. All the smoke, well, you can't really see the heat, but trust me, it is there. You probably didn't need me to tell you that. All right, so one more day of this kind of intense smoky heat already at 90 or above throughout much of eastern Colorado. Flash flood watch for western Colorado, and those big changes, they kick into gear starting tomorrow, especially in western Colorado. But the Front Range will kind of start to feel a little bit tomorrow, probably more for Thursday, when in Denver we'll see some of that. In the meantime, yeah, still got to limit that time outdoors, especially for those of you with some of those respiratory issues, asthma. Yes, you're definitely going to want to limit that time outdoors with an air quality alert that is in place until 4 o'clock today. At least, may see this extend in a few spots. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see that again along that I-25 corridor, Denver, Boulder, the whole Front Range included within that. But we're seeing some of that smoke from wildfires in California filtering its way down into the Front Range, and it's especially northern and eastern Colorado seeing and feeling the brunt of that smoke. And I would say generally I-70 on north is where you're going to see the bulk of that smoke. And you might notice a little enhancement here in Grand County. That is from the Black Mountain fire, which continues to burn up in just to the southwest of the 2020 East Troublesome fire burn scar. So that smoke forecast, it hangs around through most of tomorrow. Maybe a slight improvement for tomorrow, especially kind of later in the day. But then our next big weather maker that I've been kind of teasing here for a little while arrives. I promise I will get to that in some detail in just a moment. Meantime, temperatures as of noon. Wow, 90 in Denver already, making it our 52nd day at 90 or above. I had the graphic at 51. That flipped at the top of the hour. It's, well, live TV, so you know what it happened there. But we're at 52, which, by the way, that puts us in a tie for 12th place in terms of the most 90-plus days in a single year in Denver. It's pretty rare to get 50 or above, but we've seen a big notable increase in the last few years. There's no doubt about that. Last year, you might remember, we set the record for the most 90-plus days at 75. We've probably got a few more to go. Our last average 90-degree-plus day, by the way, in Denver, it's on September the 11th. That is the 30-year average. Long-term average is September the 5th, but we've, I believe, had 10 straight years of a 90-plus day in the month of September. So long story short, we're probably not quite done yet with those 90-degree days after, even though the next few days does look like we'll stay below 90 degrees. Now, forecast highs for today. Oh, it's just scorching out there. I mean, 95 in Denver. By the way, pay attention. I'm going to point out this number to pay attention to. Look at Grand Junction, because I want you to see what's going to happen in Grand Junction for tomorrow. But for today, 93. For our friends out there in the Western Slope, some changes are in store for you in Grand Junction. Start to see some of those in the form of some mid to high level clouds interspersing our skies here in central and western Colorado by this evening. Front Range, the urban corridor, we should stay cloud free just about. Maybe an isolated storm in far western Colorado, but Denver, again, the urban I-25 corridor, we are going to stay dry. I-25 on east. Anyway, we had a few isolated storms in far eastern Colorado yesterday. Today, none of that. But we do start to see some widespread showers and thunderstorms working their way into our skies by tomorrow morning. Notice the timing here. This is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So maybe a little unusual for us to be talking about some of that morning rain during the summer time frame. But yeah, you'll start off the month of September on a rainy note in Grand Junction, as well as east in the Flat Tops and into the Yampa Valley as well. Tonight, temperatures mid-60s for us, mostly on the clear side. Sunset getting earlier and earlier. It is 7:31 this evening in Denver. Tomorrow, 89 degrees, showers and storms develop. Probably a better chance again in the mountains and certainly west of the Continental Divide in terms of that shower and storm chance, but we've certainly got that in place for us into the Denver area as well. Now, flash flood watch, that's mainly in place for us into western Colorado. This is going to be a key note here. Notice that does include us in the I-70 Glenwood Canyon area. Today is probably the last day where you're probably going to have not have any sort of widespread issues with I-70 at Glenwood Canyon. So if you need to travel west or east through I-70 in Glenwood Canyon, today is the day. Tomorrow we're going to have some serious issues out there, and that could last well into Thursday and perhaps into Friday as well. So again, don't plan on being able to use I-70 at Glenwood Canyon past today. I would say pretty safely that tomorrow there's probably going to be some closures out that way. So again, get that done today if you can. I know it's a real pain. I know that detour, it's awful. It's a real pain, but yeah, we are probably going to be looking at some closures out there starting tomorrow. Tomorrow looks to be the most likely day to see it. Then Thursday and Friday, probably seeing some closures out there as well. Keep that in mind, by the way, if maybe you're heading to Moab or something from Denver for the Labor Day weekend. I wouldn't be surprised we're talking about some of those mudslides that lead to a more prolonged closure of I-70 at Glenwood Canyon. So again, just putting it out there that we could be looking at some of those issues. Meantime, also flash flood watch includes the San Juans and much of western Colorado as well. Shower storms, I mentioned, they work their way in overnight and especially into early tomorrow. And then watch what happens as we head through the day. By about 5 o'clock tomorrow, continental divide on west, looking at some of that widespread rainfall down into the St. Louis Valley, on north here through the Maroon Bells, the West Elks, getting on north here into the Yampa Valley, as well as west into the flat tops, seeing some of those showers and those thunderstorms. Those will slowly spin north and east into the Denver area. Pretty isolated stuff for tomorrow evening, but by kind of late tomorrow night and into early Thursday morning, we'll see some of those showers and those thunderstorms work their way in. And by the way, I'm going to go back to that here for a quick second since I've got the time here on the extended weather to do this. This moisture, you might notice how widespread it is and how maybe unusual times. We're used to getting afternoon showers and thunderstorms. The reason we're seeing a lot of this and kind of extra moisture than usual, this is the remnants of what was a hurricane. This is the remnants of what was Hurricane Nora in the eastern Pacific. Now that moisture is working its way into Colorado, and that's why, again, we're seeing such widespread moisture. And it's also why, again, I'm telling you, in the Glenwood Springs, Glenwood Canyon area, those burn scars, we're probably going to be looking at some of those extra issues out there as a result of a bit more rainfall, a bit more precipitation than we're typically accustomed to here in Colorado. Forecast highs for tomorrow. Remember how I mentioned to look out for Grand Junction? Look at that for tomorrow. 68 in Grand Junction, 59 in Lake City, even in Leadville. Leadville 63. That's, I guess, fairly usual. You're 10,000 feet, but you get into the eastern plains, a lot of 80s and 90s. The far eastern plains where you see less of the cloud cover, we're going to be on the hot side once again, but most everyone starting to cool on down tomorrow, and the real cool down, at least for Denver. And by the way, our rainiest day here in Denver, it's Thursday. So you got those outdoor plans for your Thursday, especially during the morning could actually be quite wet there here in Denver on your Thursday. It does look to be very unsettled. Then Friday and Saturday, we slowly dry things up. I think the weekend we'll be looking at more kind of isolated hit or miss showers and storms. And by the way, Sunday does look better than Saturday if you're going to the Taste of Colorado or anything like that. Any sort of outdoor activities. It is, of course, Labor Day weekend coming on up. And we do see by your Sunday some generally drier conditions. Those should last into your Labor Day and early next week. And a quick look at that weekend ahead where we are going to be looking at, again, I think Sunday being slightly better, but we do have storms around both days. So may want to have some sort of indoor alternative. But neither day at this point looks like a washout. So at least that is a bit of good news. Hey, thanks for joining us here for 9 News Watch and your detailed Colorado weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.